Make sure this is all on. Y'all know how it goes. This is a one-man show, the Satire Podcast. Quick jumping in to tie you on down something that I did not know was going on. And now I know what's going on, so I want to cast it on because it's not in the news too much. It's not in the news too much. Cuba has been out of power for like the past 2 weeks, 12 days, they said. And it's because of the stuff that happened in Venezuela with the U.S. so-called intervening and doing something alongside with like capturing their president and everything. You know how that went down. But now Cuba gets their fuel from them. So now they've been out of fuel and like revolting and stuff. So I got some clips so we can check this out together.
Cuba has fallen. That's the news that I am delivering to you today. It has been 15 days since the blockade had begun, where all oil for the oil-dependent nation has been blocked. And though the Cuban government has tried to ration that as long as they can, the fact is they've just timed out. They've ran out of oil. So what we're watching right now is a complete collapse of the Cuban national energy grid. There are pockets of generated power for military bases and bunkers,
and rich people
like that don't help the people. For 95% of the population, over 11 million people are now without power, and that power is not coming back on. Our focus on this series has really been to highlight.
Yeah, that's different. That's different than just like an outage, like something broke or something. They just gotta fix it. They literally don't have the fuel right now. Let me see if there's some more stuff pop up on this.
Holy shit.
When was this posted? 3 days ago? Yes, I ain't know anything about this.
Yeah, so this would be the same kind of apartment buildings in Russia.
Similar, yeah.
Similar.
Much similar, yeah.
The smell.
It's hard not to feel a sense of melancholy as you walk the streets of Havana. There are signs of struggle everywhere. Domestic waste piles up around street corners, and these once majestic
That's what makes
buildings
sense.
are slowly crumbling in on top of each other. It truly feels like Cuba is at a turning point, on a knife's edge even. This volatile reality formed the backdrop to my journey, a trip some people warned me not to take at a time of mounting political pressure and economic hardship. It feels more important than ever to document this music, to listen to...
He's not actually showing anything but talking himself. The comments was more interesting. Like saying the U.S. is doing to Cuba what Israel did to Palestine. But I gotta see a little more what's going on.
Rubbish on the streets, bikes to get around, power only by torchlight. This, the state
Wait, that's not a torch.
Power only by torchlight.
Just saying, but...
This, the state of Cuba, desperately running out of oil supplies. Because it's reliant on Venezuela for fuel, and the US blocking imports of oil from there threatens to grind this island to a halt. The problem is everywhere to be seen in Havana, and this, now a threat to public health. No fuel to power.
That's how Philly was when they stopped picking up the trash for just 2 days.
Very critical. It's prone to causing diseases. It's caused by garbage. Please do something about this. And no fuel for homes, schools, hospitals, causing blackouts for much of the day. Cuba's iconic 1950s
Yeah, the kids.
replaced by these electric bikes, the only way to get around in a country being choked off from its supplies. Life in...
Wait, so much fuel they had to take away the cars? Like, it's so less fuel they had to take away the cars and replace with electric? How long this been going on, or did they know this was going to happen?
Cuba has become
And they want to sell those electric cars. Wait, I didn't click that.
Rubbish on the streets, bikes to get around. Power only. Split at the moment. Traditional alliances bending under the pressure of US involvement. These were much needed supplies from Mexico being shipped in last week. But its government now halting shipments after the US threatened tariffs against countries that send supplies to Cuba.
Ah.
But not everyone.
So they're saying, hey, no, that's why no other country helping them. Because the U.S. said, if y'all help them, we're not going to help y'all out anymore. That's bogus.
Against what some Mexicans say is economic suffocation for Cubans. And Chile's far-right president-elect saying it won't be lending Cuba a hand either.
I do not agree with giving direct economic aid to a government that has imposed a dictatorship for more than 60 years and has left the Cuban people in a very deprived, inhumane situation.
Russian tourists at the airport in Havana being repatriated, but while an inconvenience for its holidaymakers, this is potentially an opportunity for Russia itself, because Cuba now needs oil and badly. Russia could...
So now they're going to make new relationships with Russia instead of America.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the son of
now strengthening that.
Is seen to be ramping that up further.
My world strengthening that China, Russia. Like, there's just a lot going on. U.S. is missing out.
A lifelong dream to exact regime.
America thought they was the world running bully.
The aggressive stance to Bloomberg.
The fundamental problem Cuba has is it has no economy, and the people who are in charge of that country, in control of that country, they don't know how to improve the everyday life of their people without giving up power over sectors that they control. They want to control everything. They don't want the people of Cuba to control anything.
The result for
No, y'all want to control everything. The U.S. government. It was something I had in my favorites real fast. I want to go through. Trump actually was asked about it. This was a week ago. Guess when it started? Cuba and us, we are talking.
If a deal hasn't made, would you consider an operation like the one in Venezuela?
I don't want to answer that. Why would I answer that? If I was, it wouldn't be a very tough operation.
Ooh.
Thank you. But I don't think that'll be necessary.
He said, why would I talk about that? And then in the next sentence say, but if I was, it wouldn't be that hard though. And but why would I talk about that right now? But if I was, it wouldn't be that hard though. And this was a week ago. You see, nothing happened within that week. Because that video we just seen, the other one was just like 3 days ago. So obviously that didn't go through. And yeah, is anybody else dropping some gems?
Breaking. Right now in Cuba, people are living with daily blackouts. Power
This was a day ago. 1 day ago.
Millions of people in Cuba are feeling the
Oh, that's my cuz. He got my last name.
right in any country that is supplying Cuba oil with sanctions.
Yeah, we went over
Oil
that.
shipments to Cuba stopped immediately. He said that he wanted to bring back U.S. imperialism, and he's doing it in 4K right now. History repeats itself. The U.S. comes out, vilifies the government of countries we don't permit, or the U.S. will find a...
I want to see some hands on the ground.
Here's how the U.S. manufactured the crisis in Cuba. Cuba is incredibly important to politicians in Washington, D.C. That's because of the Cuba lobby, one of the most influential ethnic foreign policy groups in the U.S. Despite the Cuban diaspora making up less than 1%
That
of
art,
the U.S.
though.
population, experts say the Cuba lobby punches above its weight. It's second only to the pro-Israel lobby, another group with a strong Florida base. U.S. politicians have championed their cause and cashed their checks for decades. The lobby was founded by elite Cuban exiles whose property had been seized by the revolution, and it seeks to dismantle the country's socialist system.
Cuba will be failing pretty soon.
The United States is isolated from the Cuban regime.
Cuba C has...
Yeah, been long-term coming.
The lobby is concentrated in and around southern Florida's Miami region, home to over half of all Cuban Americans. For years, the lobby has been effectively effective at mobilizing voters, especially in swing states like Florida, where the majority of Cuban Americans lean heavily conservative. That influence helps explain why the Republican candidate Trump made the switch in 2016 from wanting to end the embargo
After 50 years, it's enough time, folks.
to prolonging it. Now he's doubling down. Trump has threatened tariffs against any country that exports oil to Cuba, which he claims is a stronghold for, get this, Hamas and Hezbollah.
I mean, he may as well have thrown in that he had the Loch Ness Monster in Cuba as well. An executive order, even by Trump's own high
Hamas.
replete with falsifications.
Historically,
For real.
the Cuba lobby has had access to the highest level of U.S. politics, allowing it to exert influence directly on decision makers. Take Marco Rubio, a Cuban-American champion of U.S. intervention. He's currently Trump's Secretary of State and is leading the government's latest squeeze.
We would love to see the regime there change.
Even before Trump's decree, Cubans faced daily blackouts, food scarcity, and a critical shortage of medicine as a result of the U.S. embargo. You can trace that story back to 1952, when Fulgencio Batista ran a failing presidential campaign and launched a military coup instead. The U.S. supported Batista.
Yeah, y'all gotta know, a lot of times, like, we didn't have people that could just upload videos and be a reporter without going through, most of the time, a system that the person that they was reporting on created in the first place. So it was literally some words you can say and can't say. Just like you see what Stephen Colbert is going through right now, and Jimmy Kimmel on the big stage. Should Stephen Colbert show about to be out of here in March. And they blaming the ratings and all of that, but nah, people's watching that show. So people, when they were talking, the politicians, when they would talk, they knew how people's minds was working. So they would just say little phrases here and there, or have manufactured speeches that wasn't just written by them. It was written by at least like 10 other people, all with similar interests and like representing even more people. You got to get the writer for the group to write for the group, and then you get a writer for the writer, and then you get the orator for the writers and stuff like that. Get to put the best performative out of all the orators that can seem like he made it up himself, and all this other things in between. That's what makes it a play. Like, that's what literally makes it a play. Somebody even brought up Obama and his speeches compared to his normal talks. And that's with everybody. So, all this talk that they was doing back then and people was falling for, now it's just like having a little more thought ingested into it. And like, that's cool that in this age of disinformation, like with all of the AI and different things going on where people have so many different divergent ideas, that we able just to see what's going on until we can make a choice. See a choice on how to move forward. Even if it's not under our full control. At least like lend a voice or not be a part of the bad picture unknowingly.
By recognizing his brutal and repressive government. Fidel Castro came to power in 1959 after a revolution ousted Batista. Thousands of Batista's loyalists fled the country for the U.S., and many landed just 145 kilometers away in Florida. Primarily upper class and wealthy, many of the people who first immigrated were established professionals like business leaders, doctors, and lawyers. Castro executed or jailed many Batista loyalists who remained. At that point, U.S. businesses dominated Cuba, controlling 80% of Cuban utilities and about 40% of its sugar production. Castro nationalized all of it. U.S. politicians decided to punish the country through its people, cutting off resources in hopes that it would provoke a revolt. But that didn't happen, so they kept squeezing. For years, most of the countries of Latin America and the rest of the world have staunchly opposed the U.S. blockade. And now, with Trump's latest tightening attempts, the U.S. says Cuba is on the brink of total humanitarian collapse. Here's how the U.S. manufactured the crisis.
Dang. So she's saying that's how they manufacture it. I ain't saying it. But look at the past and what they already been planning. It's like it's just right there. It's an island not too far from Florida. That's why Florida populated with Cubans. So the human factor is just vicious to me. That it's two human cultures right there next to each other that share a lot of similarities. Because when you go to Florida, it's not like the rest of the U.S. all the time. But it is like Cuban. It's like you'll see when you get there. But for all of this division to be going on is astounding. Literally have people trying to survive without electricity, fuel, fire, now food shortages, but right above in Florida, there are people living their best life. Like, there's y'all see TV? Like, they living their best life out there. So imagine that being the case in like Palestine and Israel and stuff like that. Like, it's not always just the people individually. You know, the people do play a part, but how the military is working in the government and then working on the people to influence the mind. Some people don't even care. Or like, I didn't even know about this till I saw a clip. I ain't seen no news, no commercial, no nothing. Alright, what else? What else? There was something else I favorited in here that I stopped watching. This was pretty funny. I can see this happening in Philly too. But I was watching. They was like, the one day I could get away with this. But if I was the cop, if I was the officer, I would have left. I was just straight left. I was like, y'all see, they clearly don't need us here. They just playing in snow. And if we get in the middle of it, it's a 10v200. I can see how people be mad. I seen people in the comments saying, disrespectful. Why would they do such a thing? They put their life on the line. But hey, for a lot of these people, that is not the case. They siding with ICE nowadays. On an easy. And I went over that one last time. Some random Philly dancing. You know, it's from Jersey, but if you pull up, it's just gonna be like that. You know, in these times, we still gotta laugh and be able to move. However, intuition tells us. Yeah. Get him. Get him. Get him. I know one of these could be your next future politician. Can invent something you never seen before. I'll tell her the truth, bro. When you look at where a lot of these other politicians come from and what they was doing when they was young, it's a reason you ain't hear about them until they was old. And then you look back and then you just hear about their political career. Like the president that's running the Ukraine was a whole comedian. And the New York mayor and something like that. I saw some videos of him doing some wild stuff back in the past. So don't doubt just because the skin color. That's what I'm talking about with these divisions and these separations. Let me see. New York mayor passed. Oh, I put Mayjoy. Hey, look, he was a rapper. I ain't making this up. I don't have a clue what he's saying. Oh, he talking different language. The second one slapped a little more, but that first one wasn't it at all.
If you're wondering, like me,
Let's see what comes up real quick while we still here before we log off.
Mr. Krabs, I just Fans felt that Tyra did not take accountability. It's been a lot.
Oh, did y'all hear about that?
Backlash online and everywhere.
The Tyra Banks, they came out with the documentary.
Wow. Yeah.
There go Miss J right there.
She should answer the question that they asked.
I heard Jay was in the hospital for like a year and a half, and Tyra ain't visit him at all.
But that being said,
that's
I
sick.
think the reality is
He made her so much money.
It's just to be absolutely honest with it. And it's okay. It's okay to admit that you made a mistake. It's okay to say, I'm sorry. It's okay to go, it wasn't right. And I know that, and we all know that. None of us are perfect. We were trying. There were lots of mistakes.
Yeah, they was all on the show. They coming forward saying they did some things wrong. She ain't talking about it at all.
I remember that day like it was yesterday watching the show. And Shandy in the documentary expressed her pain over a sexual encounter that was filmed. Now,
SA.
Mr. J, did you ever feel like the show went too far?
Well, you know, for me, that Shandy scene was just devastating. She was the girl that in my mind, I was ready for her to win.
Right.
You know, you even see it in the doc. We're shooting in Verona, and she's winning.
She had it.
She's winning. She had it. I was in the production office when we got word of what was going down. I was devastated in the moment. And what I'd like everyone to just think about for a minute, because Shandy says this in her interview, she said, someone said, hey, how about the guys come over? Now, as someone who worked on that show, I can tell you the girls couldn't plan the next 5 minutes of their lives. They were following a directive. So who is the someone? That's the question. I'll leave it out there. I kind of know roughly, but the point is, someone presented that.
This how this fuck shit be happening. He gonna say, I'll leave it right there. I ain't tell the whole thing.
Did you feel like I didn't do enough to protect, or you tried to do as much as you could?
Well, I mean, I didn't
know about it.
I don't know. So that's the thing. Ultimately, as judges, we were actually kept quite sort of separate from what was happening. They wanted that on purpose, so that their everyday lives sort of played out outside of it. And
I used to watch this show when I was younger. Had my mom and my aunt around all the time.
They would tell us about what they did. They did a photo shoot.
They put the pressure on them.
We wouldn't know what happened behind closed doors, as you wouldn't in real life. If you go to a job interview, you don't tell everyone all your dirty laundry, right? You basically go in there and you try and get the job. That's what that moment was for, right? I watched the shows like everybody else did and saw what happened to Shandy on TV the way the rest of the world did. I didn't know the behind the scenes, all the things, the fact that production allowed this, didn't allow that. Because there was no social media, it didn't get out to the world.
See, I mentioned that earlier. Because there was no social media, it didn't go out to the world. That would have been out in the next morning. That was today.
As a responsible adult, as a decent human being,
Alright, what's your opinions on this?
Do not let two young people who have got drunk go to bed together and film it as if that is somehow okay. It was not.
Yeah, they filmed it and uploaded her whole essay on the show and said they just was having a drunk night. Like, somebody planned that. Like, they was breaking it down. They didn't plan the next 5 minutes of their life. Everything is from production. So for them to be drunk and then say, we're going to go do all of this and not think that they got plans for the show and all of that stuff, somebody set that up. And then they have the cameras right there. Like, all these shows that got popular and people in the past, they pushed some parallels. They pushed some parallels. Like, they was imagining some parallel realities, and they brought that crap into their existence. Like, Tyra Banks was there. All of them was there. Oh, let me see, because that documentary just came out, but I didn't watch it yet. Tyra Banks. I did watch one where... let me see.
Me looking like this and like this and all of that. And everyone seems to be pretty okay with that. But for some reason, people have a serious problem when I look like that.
Oh, this clip is saying... this is an old clip of her saying how big she is, but on the show, if people had a little weight on them, she was coming at them like, Why the fuck you think you here?
These kind of attacks. If I had lower self-esteem, I would probably be starving myself right.
If I had lower self-esteem,
That's exactly what it's
that's what she instilled into those girls when they came on her show. Damn.
All of you that have something
Did it for the money, money, money.
women that are built like me, women that sometimes or all the time look like this, women whose names you know, women whose names you don't, women who've been picked on, women whose husbands put them down, women at work or girls in school. I have one thing to say to you.
What?
Kiss my fat ass.
Kiss my fat ass. That's what she had to say. And then they came with a fat ass on the show. She was like, y'all gotta go. Yeah, I saw like, then she licensed the show, so it wasn't always, what you doing? It wasn't always her on the show. Like, even when it was Canada's Next Top Model, or the different ones, different country, it wasn't her. She just licensed the show out, and people just took it over. So it was other people all up in this umbrella, just taking advantage of the name. So it wasn't just straight her. I'm not putting the blame all on her. That's what they going to try to do to the black lady, to the black girl. But it was their whole production crew and everybody that was kind of behind her. So I'm not trying to do some straight up Tyra Banks slander. Just like Trump slander. It's not just... Well, Trump is another story. What's similar? Hold on, what happened?
She's the one who edited it. Shandy's.
Oh, but we just heard about that one. What's one more before I gotta go? Cause I gotta leave, pick up somebody in like 10 minutes.
So when I say respectfully, Tyra, you have no fucking idea how painful it has been for me. You have no fucking idea. But for you to admit to me all these years, 15 years later, I know the hell that you've been going through. I know that you couldn't even walk through the threshold of certain doors. And so to have her, a black woman, say to me over the phone that I knew you were struggling and I did nothing about it? What? You don't gotta support me. You ain't even gotta like me. But don't see me in my... Bluetooth connected. So fucked up.
I've actually apologized for the issue with Danny and what happened. That was between a rock and a hard place for me, because there were agents that would tell me she will not work with those it's just not gonna happen.
It's agents, it's people around her. Told you it's not just her. I called it.
But that's hindsight is 2020 for all of us. It just so happens that
sometimes it's before it happened. Saying just Tai Now.
In front of the world.
Bull fucking shit. Me getting my Gap closed is not opening any doors for me. You knew what you were doing for the show. You were making good for TV at my expense. So when I say
let's see this thing where we close this girl Gap.